My wife, Evelyn, slipped into our bedroom at 4 in the morning. Her hair was messy, her mascara faded, and the smell of perfume that wasn't hers clung to her coat like a borrowed shadow. She didn't turn on the lights. She didn't try to explain. She just leaned close, whispered, "Don't ask," and disappeared beneath the sheets. And I didn't ask. Not because I trusted her. Not because I believed nothing happened. But because sometimes silence reveals far more than questions ever could. Evelyn had always been the kind of woman who glowed in rooms filled with people, warm, elegant, effortlessly charming. But that glow had dimmed in the last few months. Her laughter became shorter, her conversations thinner. Something had settled in her eyes, an exhaustion that didn't belong to her. I had been patient. Maybe too patient. That night, while she slept, I sat downstairs in the living room, staring at the doorway. I wasn't waiting for her. I was waiting for someone else. Someone who knew the truth far before I did. Someone whose presence alone could rip the silence open and expose everything she thought she had hidden. But I didn't expect Evelyn to return in the state she did, drained, shaken, almost guilty. Before I continue, if stories like this resonate with you, then please consider supporting with a like, so more people who appreciate deep, emotional storytelling can discover it. The house was quiet when morning finally arrived. A pale light crept through the curtains and brushed against the living room walls. I heard Evelyn moving upstairs, slowly, carefully, as if she were afraid that every step might betray what happened the night before. She had no idea who was already sitting in our home. She had no idea what truth I had uncovered. And she had no idea how unprepared she was for the moment her secrets would collide with reality. But before she came down, my mind drifted backward, replaying the moment everything shifted. 3 days earlier, I had noticed something unusual, Evelyn's phone lighting up at midnight with messages from someone named Marcus, a coworker I barely knew. When I asked Eddie, my closest friend and someone who worked in the same building, he hesitated. That hesitation was enough to confirm that I needed to know more. Eddie didn't want to tell me anything at first. But friendship has a way of pulling truth from the corners people try to hide. "Isaac, you need to talk to her," he had whispered. "Why?" "Because people have been talking. Talking about late nights. Talking about private jokes. Talking about Evelyn being seen with Marcus more often than with me." My heart didn't break. It tightened, slowly, painfully, like a fist closing around something fragile. And that was when I decided to invite someone to our home. Someone who could confirm what I feared, or destroy every suspicion I had. When Evelyn finally stepped downstairs that morning, wearing the same coat she had worn the night before, her eyes met mine. For a moment she looked relieved that I wasn't angry. But relief turned into confusion the moment she saw the silhouette of a man sitting on our sofa. Her jaw dropped. Her breath caught. Her hands trembled at her sides. Because sitting there was not Marcus. It was someone far worse for her to see, someone she never expected to face in our living room. But before I reveal who, ask yourself honestly. If you were in my place, what would you do? Leave a comment sharing your instinct. Evelyn froze at the bottom of the stairs. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "Isaac, why is he here?" But I didn't answer her right away. Because I wanted her to speak the truth first. I wanted to see whether she would confess, or lie again. Her eyes darted nervously between me and the man. She swallowed hard, blinking rapidly as though she were trying to wake up from a nightmare she created herself. If you're still reading, then type the word truth in the comments so I know you're following every heartbeat of this story. She moved closer to the living room, her fingers gripping the railing as though it could hold up the weight of her guilt. "Isaac, please say something." But I stayed silent. And the man sitting on the sofa finally rose to his feet. The moment Evelyn saw his full face, she stepped backward, her knees shaking. Because the man wasn't a coworker. Wasn't a stranger. Wasn't someone she expected me to ever meet. He was her manager, the person responsible for organizing the night out with coworkers, the man who knew exactly where she was and what happened long before she whispered, "Don't ask." and the look on his face told me this story was about to take a turn even she didn't expect. Before we continue, share this story if you believe that truth always finds its way, no matter how deeply someone tries to hide it. Someone out there may need this reminder. Evelyn didn't just look surprised, she looked caught. Her manager, Calder Rowan, stood with a stiff posture, hands clasped in front of him, eyes avoiding hers like they carried a truth too heavy to meet. "Evelyn," Calder said quietly, "I told you we couldn't keep pretending nothing was wrong." Her breath hitched. She glanced at me, pleading, terrified, exposed. "Isaac, I can explain," she whispered. I didn't interrupt her. I wanted her to talk. I needed her to talk. And she understood that this was her final chance. "I didn't do anything with him," she said quickly, her words tumbling over each other. "I swear, nothing happened." Calder exhaled sharply, shaking his head. "Evelyn, stop," he said. "Isaac deserves the truth. Not your edited version." Her face drained of color. "Why don't you start?" I said, my voice steady but colder than I expected. She sank into the nearest chair, burying her face in her hands. For a long moment she didn't speak. And then, with a trembling breath, she finally lifted her head. "It wasn't supposed to be like this," she murmured. "I didn't mean to hurt you." Before she could continue. If you're here reading deeply, leave a comment with your thoughts on honesty in relationships. Does silence protect or destroy? Evelyn wiped her eyes and continued. "Work has been horrible lately. You know that. I've been drowning. And Calder, he's been helping me. Talking to me. Listening in ways I..." She paused, looking up at me with eyes begging not to be misunderstood. "I never cheated on you, Isaac. But I didn't draw the boundaries I should have." Calder stepped forward, remorse carved into the lines of his face. "I'm here because I owe you the truth," he said to me. "Last night wasn't a party. It wasn't a simple hangout. It was an intervention." "Intervention?" I repeated. He nodded. "She broke down at work yesterday. Panic attack. Full collapse. We didn't know who to call because she begged us not to call you. She said she didn't want to be a burden." My chest tightened at those words. Evelyn shook her head violently. "That's not the whole story. Tell him everything." Calder hesitated. "You told us you felt disconnected from him, and that you didn't think he'd understand." The room went painfully still. Evelyn covered her mouth, tears rising again. "I said that because I was scared, not because I believe it." Calder lowered his voice. "We stayed out late because she wasn't stable enough to drive home. I drove her back at 4 a.m. And she didn't want you to ask because she thought it would seem like something else." Silence wrapped around us like a suffocating blanket. I sat down slowly, letting their words settle. Hurt didn't hit me all at once, it arrived in quiet layers, like echoes of conversations we never had. "You should have told me," I finally said. Evelyn nodded rapidly. I know I messed up. I was overwhelmed. I let someone else become my support when it should have been you." Before I answer her. Type communication in the comments if you believe relationships break not from one big lie, but from the 1,000 things left unsaid. Calder cleared his throat. "I'm not staying long. I came only to clarify the situation. She didn't do anything wrong, except hide what she was going through." He glanced at Evelyn with a mix of pity and disappointment. "I'll give you both space." He left quietly, closing the door behind him. Now it was just us. Evelyn sat across from me, knees pulled to her chest like a child hiding from consequences. "Isaac, please talk to me." I inhaled deeply. My mind replayed everything, the secrecy, the messages, the distance, the 4 a.m. whisper. And behind all of it, beneath all of it, I saw fear instead of betrayal. "Why didn't you trust me with your pain?" I asked softly. Her lips quivered. "Because you're strong. And I'm not. I didn't want you to see me falling apart." My heart cracked, not from anger, but from the realization of how little she understood her worth in my eyes. I moved closer, lowering myself to her level. You don't have to be strong alone. That's why we're here, together. She broke then, completely. Tears poured down as she folded into me, her body trembling with every sob. I'm so sorry, Isaac. I should have come to you first. I should have told you everything. I held her tight, because sometimes love is not about perfection, it's about choosing to stay even when the story isn't pretty. If you've ever had a moment like this, share this story with someone who needs a reminder that real relationships survive storms through truth, not silence. She whispered against my chest, "Can we fix this?" I brushed her hair back gently. I think we can. But we fix it together. No more hiding. No more whispering, don't ask. If something hurts, you tell me. She nodded, her tears wetting my shirt. And for the first time in months, she looked at me like she finally understood she wasn't alone. Before we close this chapter, drop a comment with the word heal if you believe every relationship deserves one honest chance. And finally, if you connected with this story, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more powerful, emotional narratives. Your support helps us continue creating stories that matter.